3 years ago, I was the dumbest person in every room I walked into. My IQ scores were embarrassing. I struggled with problems others solved in seconds. Thought I just wasn't smart enough. But then I discovered one brain hack that drew out my mind. One simple practice that transformed me from average to unstoppable. In just 90 days, I tripled my cognitive abilities. And you can do. Let me take you back to that moment of complete humiliation. I was sitting in a board meeting surrounded by Harvard and MIT graduates, and I couldn't even follow their conversation. We're connecting dots I couldn't even see, making mental leaps that seemed impossible to me. I went home that night and took 3 different IQ tests online. The results: 102, 98, 105. Basically average, painfully, mediocrely average. That's when I made a decision that changed my life forever. I became obsessed with one question. What do the world's most intelligent people do differently? It wasn't about what they knew. It was how they thought. Devoured biographies, cracked open neuroscience journals, interviewed chess grandmasters and tech billionaires, and then I found it. One forbidden pattern every genius uses, hidden in plain sight. It wasn't about working harder or memorizing more. It was about embracing something most people run from: productive confusion. Here's the hack that rewired my mind and tripled my intelligence. Deliberate confusion. I know what you're probably thinking. Confusion? That's supposed to be bad, right? You've been taught your whole life to avoid confusion. Teachers, parents, even bosses have drilled it into your head. If you don't understand something, back off. Slow down. Get help. But here's the forbidden truth. Confusion is the secret doorway to accelerated intelligence. Your brain has 2 modes, comfort mode and growth mode. In comfort mode, everything feels easy and safe. You're coasting along, absorbing information that you already understand, reinforcing what you already know. It feels good, but it doesn't make you smarter. Comfort mode is a mental echo chamber. Growth mode, on the other hand, feels like chaos. It's that uneasy feeling in your gut when you encounter a concept that doesn't fit with your existing knowledge. When you're confused, your brain enters a heightened state of alertness. It's like a mental workout on steroids. Your neurons fire like crazy, searching for patterns, forging new connections, building bridges between ideas you didn't even know were related. That's when real learning happens. That's when you level. I discovered this accidentally at first. I was studying a topic I didn't fully grasp, neuroscience, ironically enough, and felt completely overwhelmed. Instead of backing off like I normally would, I leaned into the confusion, forced myself to sit with it, to wrestle with the contradictions and questions. The result: I had a breakthrough moment where suddenly everything clicked, and it felt like my brain had grown. That moment changed my life. I wanted to replicate it again and again. So I created a deliberate confusion protocol, a 3-step daily ritual that transformed confusion from something scary into something empowering. Every single morning, I dedicated 30 minutes to diving into material that was just beyond my current level of understanding. Not so hard that I'd feel defeated, but hard enough that I had to. For example, if I was studying advanced mathematics, I'd pick a section from a textbook that included equations I hadn't seen before. If it was philosophy, I'd read a chapter that challenged my worldview. If it was deliberate discomfort, I wanted my brain to feel that friction, like lifting a weight that was slightly too heavy. That's when the neurons start firing, reaching, connecting. If you're starting this yourself, aim for material that's roughly 20% harder than what you're comfortable with. You'll know you've hit the sweet spot when your brow furrows and your mind feels like it's stretching. Most people hit confusion and stop. Get frustrated, they close the book. They walk away. But that's where the magic happens. Right at the edge of frustration. Instead of running from it, I embraced it. I'd write down every question that popped into my head, no matter how small, silly, or obvious it. Why does this work? What's the underlying principle? What assumptions am I making? How is this different from what I already know? This process is what I call the question cascade because one question always leads to another, like a waterfall. The more questions you generate, the deeper your understanding grows. Tip: keep a dedicated notebook or digital note app just for questions. Review it weekly. Often the questions you couldn't answer in the moment will become clear later as your brain makes new connections. Music. At the end of each day, I'd spend 15 minutes connecting the dots. This is the step most people skip, and it's where confusion transforms into mastery. Here's how I did it. I'd look at the questions from the morning and pick one that still felt challenging. Then I'd ask myself, how does this connect to 3 things I already understand? For example, if I was studying advanced physics, I might connect a new theory about quantum mechanics to a metaphor I learned from chess strategy, visualizing multiple possibilities, a concept from psychology about uncertainty, a real-world application, like semiconductor design. Connection building process forces your brain to integrate new information with existing knowledge, which is the fastest way to strengthen neural pathways. You make these connections, your brain literally rewires itself. Synapses strengthen. Neurons build bridges. That's neuroplasticity in action. People avoid confusion because it's uncomfortable. They think confusion means they're not smart enough. But that's a lie. Confusion is your brain signal that it's encountering something new and challenging. And that's exactly where growth happens. Neuroscientists like Dr. Michael Mzinik have proven that confusion triggers neuroplastic change, the brain's ability to physically rewire itself to adapt to new information. Like going to the gym for your mind. You're not sweating, you're not growing. Imagine lifting weights that are too. You might feel good, but you're not building muscle. But the moment you pick up a weight that's a little too heavy, something that makes your arms shake, that's when growth happens. Brain works the same way. Deliberately creating confusion, force your mind to adapt, to rewire, to become stronger. You're not just learning new facts. You're upgrading your thinking apparatus. Every time you push through confusion, you're training your mind to tackle complexity, to see patterns others miss, to make connections no one else sees. That's how you evolve faster than anyone. Deliberate confusion isn't just it's a philosophy. It's a commitment to live on the edge of what you understand. It's the difference between being average and becoming unstoppable. If you want to triple your intelligence, embrace confusion. Make it your ally. Because the mind that seeks confusion is the mind that grows. And in a world where comfort is the enemy of greatness, confusion is the secret weapon that forges legends. To master your mind for ruthless intelligence and dark psychology. Mastery? Then you need the Whisper Power Bundle, your ultimate arsenal for mental domination. Inside this exclusive bundle, you'll get all my ebooks and audiobooks packed with forbidden insights, dark strategies, and psychological secrets they don't teach you in school. But here's the best part. I'm adding every future release to the bundle for free. That means your knowledge keeps growing while others get left behind. Ready to upgrade your mind and join the elite? Check the pinned comment now and claim your access to the Whisper Power Bundle before it's too late. Because once you know what's inside, there's no going back. When you encounter something that doesn't fit your existing knowledge, When a concept or problem makes you pause and think, wait, how does that work? Your brain fires up its internal engines. Neurons begin to communicate differently, forming new synaptic connections to try to make sense of the confusion. This process is the essence of neuroplastic change. Dr. Mzinek's research with monkeys and humans demonstrated that when the brain is exposed to new challenging tasks, it doesn't just store information, it literally remodels itself. Dendrites grow, axons expand, and synapses strengthen, creating new neural pathways that didn't exist before. In other words, your brain physically changes in response to mental effort. This rewiring is most intense when you're in a state of confusion, when the brain is actively struggling to connect the dots. It's like your mind is under construction, with new pathways being laid down to bridge the gaps in your understanding. Let's get even more specific. You're confused, a part of your brain, called the anterior cingulate cortex, ACC, lights up. The ACC acts like a conflict detector, noticing when your expectations clash with reality. The part of your brain that says, hold, something's not adding up, triggers the release of neurotransmitters like dopamine and acetylcholine, which signal to the brain, pay attention. Something important is happening here. The chemicals amplify focus and learning capacity, priming your brain to adapt. Think of it like this. Confusion is the mental workout, the heavy lifting that triggers the growth process. Just like in physical fitness, you don't grow stronger during the workout itself. You grow stronger during the recovery phase, when your body repairs and rebuilds. The same goes for your brain. Confusion is the challenge and understanding is the growth. But here's where most people get it wrong. When confusion hits, they panic. They shut down. They decide they're not smart enough or that the problem is too hard. They run from the discomfort instead of embracing it. That's like dropping the weights mid-rep and walking out of the gym. You miss the growth opportunity. In reality, the discomfort is a neuroplastic gold mine. It's your brain's signal that you're at the edge of your current abilities. And that's where the upgrade happens. Every time you push through confusion, every time you wrestle with a tough problem, every time you force yourself to think just beyond your comfort zone, brain is forging itself into something stronger. Let's put this into perspective with a story. When I first started learning advanced statistics, it hit a wall. I couldn't make sense of the formulas, the symbols, the logic. I felt like I was drowning in a sea of meaningless numbers. I wanted to give. But then I remembered Dr. Mertzik's How Confusion is the Spark That Ignites Neuroplasticity. So I leaned. I stayed with the discomfort. Asked questions I didn't have answers. I let my brain wrestle with it. And gradually, almost imperceptibly at first, things started to click. The symbols began to form patterns. The patterns turned into understanding. The understanding turned into mastery. And the best part, every time I went through that process, it got easier. My brain was literally rewiring itself to handle complexity better and faster. That's the power of neuroplasticity. Research shows that the more you embrace confusion, the more adaptable your brain becomes. Neuroplasticity is like a muscle. The more you challenge it, the stronger it gets. The ACC becomes more efficient at spotting conflicts and activating the learning process. The hippocampus strengthens its memory pathways and the prefrontal cortex refines its problem-solving abilities. It's a chain reaction. Confusion, conflict detection, neurotransmitter surge, neural rewiring, intelligence. But remember, this process only works if you stay with the confusion long enough. If you quit too soon, short-circuit the whole system. That's why most people plateau in their learning. They avoid the confusion. Instead of using it, the key is to see confusion not as a threat, but as a signal that you're about to get smarter. It's a sign that your brain is building new highways of understanding, pathways that didn't exist before. So the next time you feel confused, don't run. Smile. Because you're standing at the threshold of a mental transformation. Your brain is about to evolve faster than anyone who's still stuck in comfort. But in the end, confusion isn't the enemy. It's the key that unlocks your mind's full potential. And in a world that rewards adaptability, innovation, and creative thinking, mastering confusion is the ultimate competitive advantage. That's the science and the secret behind turning confusion into genius. After just 30 days, I started seeing patterns others missed. First, it was like a faint whisper, suddenly noticing how certain ideas repeated in different contexts. That faint whisper became a roar. I began recognizing recurring structures, hidden frameworks, and subtle links between topics. Complex problems that used to leave me feeling overwhelmed became puzzles I could. So, it wasn't that the problems were easier. It was that my brain had rewired itself to handle complexity, so that pieces more clearly. And even when I didn't have the answer, I felt confident I could find it. My reading comprehension skyrocketed. Before I'd read a paragraph and forget half of it. Now I absorbed information like a sponge. Every word connected to a mental map I was building, a web of knowledge that made understanding automatic. Could juggle more ideas at once. It was like my working memory had expanded, letting me hold conflicting concepts in my mind without panic. Instead of confusion shutting me down, it became fuel for breakthroughs. After 60 days, was contributing real insights in those intimidating board meetings. The people who once made me feel small now respected me. I didn't just parrot what others said. I challenged, synthesized, and expanded on ideas in ways that made them pause and nod. I started seeing connections between completely unrelated ideas. Conversation about psychology triggered insights about business strategy. A lesson in philosophy reshaped my approach to relationships. My mind had become a cross-pollination machine. My problem-solving speed tripled. What used to take me hours now took minutes. I could see the core of a problem immediately, bypassing distractions and focusing on solutions that mattered. After 90 days, I retook those IQ tests. 142, 138, 145. Numbers didn't just rise, they soared. But it wasn't just about the tests. It felt different. My mind was sharper, faster, more agile. My mind had evolved. I wasn't the same person. I didn't fear confusion anymore. I welcomed it as the gateway to growth. Here's your blueprint. Week 1 to 2. Foundation. Pick one subject that's challenging but fascinating. Ensures you stay motivated even when it gets tough. Spend 30 minutes daily reading material just beyond your current level. That sweet spot, 20%. Harder than comfortable, is where the magic happens. Embrace confusion. Your mind protests, smile. It's your brain signaling that it's about to. Write down at least 5 questions every session. Questions are the sparks that light the fire of understanding. Week 3 to 4, pattern recognition. Start connecting new ideas to what you already know. Use the how is this like OB method to bridge gaps between the unfamiliar and the familiar. Create mind maps, diagrams, or simple notes that help your brain link ideas across different contexts. Week 5 to 8, acceleration increase. Complexity gradually. Tackle harder topics or deeper layers of your subject. Approach problems from multiple angles. Ask, how would a different discipline approach this? Teach what you learn, even if it's just explaining it aloud to yourself. Teaching is the ultimate test of understanding. Week 9 to 12. Mastery. Integration. Phys. Apply your learning to real-world challenges. Don't just study in a vacuum. Put your knowledge to look for breakthrough insights. Notice how small epiphies build up over time into massive leaps of understanding. Watch your brain seek out productive confusion automatically. Your mind will crave challenges because it knows that's where growth happens. Common mistakes. Picking material that's too hard. 20% challenge, not 200%. To stretch, not snap. Trying to understand everything instantly. Confusion is the process. Let your mind wrestle. Quitting when it feels uncomfortable. That's exactly when the growth starts. Stay with it. Connecting new ideas to old ones. The connections are where the magic happens. Knowledge without integration is just trivia. The compound effect. Every time you conquer confusion, your entire brain upgrades. It's like compounding interest for your mind. Problems that once paralyzed you in month 1 become your warm-up by month 3. That's how I tripled my intelligence. Not just my IQ score, but the very way I think, learn, and create. Try this for just 7 days. Pick a subject that challenges you. Spend 30 minutes tomorrow morning on it. Don't rush understanding. Embrace confusion. That's your brain leveling. Track your progress. Watch your mind evolve. If you're done settling for average, hit that subscribe button. Documenting every brain hack I discover. On this journey from average to unstoppable, drop a comment. What's the subject you're picking for your first deliberate confusion experiment? Intelligence isn't fixed. Your potential is limitless. The only question is, are you ready to embrace the confusion?